Hello everyone, welcome back to this new episode from the Altengrad city. And as you can see, today's episode is going to be slightly different because we are going to be looking at the winter time in Altengrad. So as you can see, I switched the environment into the winter theme for that Snowfall DLC, and it's actually looking pretty good. So in this episode, it's going to be much shorter than usual. We are just going to take a look at some cinematics of the already finished areas of the city. So it's going to be some sort of a mini overview of the already built areas, and I'm just going to talk over it to give some sort of a recap and just comment on the areas that we are seeing, right? So obviously we started building the Altengrad city with the castle on the hill. I had to do some landscaping, kind of prepare the area for the building, and we also built some sort of old looking city blocks, built the old town square, and kind of worked our way around it. So eventually we started building those more recently constructed city blocks, and you can kind of tell with this shot in particular where that old part of the city ends, because those are the very small blocks with the buildings much closer together, smaller buildings closer together, so you don't see there that much space in the inner yards of the blocks. But as we move further away from the castle, in pretty much all directions away from it, then we are seeing these much larger blocks, and even some industrial areas. In this particular part of the city, we see some of those modern city walls, remnants of them anyway. So we are definitely still going to continue building past the borders of the right now built areas and going to add more and more modern structures, right? Recently from the workshop, I downloaded a lot more new buildings, like 1920s, 30s structures, packs of buildings. So that's going to come very handy when we are going to do some more larger, built areas with one particular style or something like that. We already did something similar, but we are going to see that in the cinematics, don't worry. This is obviously the new bridge kind of towering over the ruins of the old one. Now, moving towards the harbor area, this is the part where I did some changes. I put a lot more ships in this harbor. Now, if you remember, when I was building this on the stream, but maybe I even mentioned it in the video, I took inspiration from the Bratislava harbor. I actually copied exactly the shape of it, and if you take a look at some pictures of it from the winter, then you will see a lot of ships just parked in the harbor for the winter, because obviously the Danube River, or at least the parts of the harbor, can get ice, kind of quite thick a layer of ice, so the ships wouldn't be able to move around it anyway. I was kind of trying to maybe put some ice in the harbor, but I eventually didn't find any like a suitable technique for it. Now that I'm thinking of it, maybe I could have used maybe like gravel or something, ploppable gravel, because it would be just looking completely white. So, maybe I could have gave that a shot, but oh well, maybe next year, right? I really like how it looks like in the winter, how it's obviously mostly white colors everywhere. The roofs are just kind of blended together, because obviously Altengrad is quite a colorful city, actually. The roofs have various colors, the different surfaces, and trees everywhere. So it's kind of interesting to see it kind of blended together with these, gray colors, basically. So that was really cool. In some of these shots, I decided to make it snow quite heavily. Actually, I'm not really sure how it's going to turn out looking in the actual video. I'm seeing it right now when I'm doing the commentary with very low resolution, so I'm pretty much not even seeing the snow. But it's probably going to look good. I had to delete a lot of the trees from the map, because this is the same issue that I think Fluxtrans was talking a lot in his in the start of the Avalon series, that there are not that many trees in the workshop that are ready for winter themes. So a couple of them they are just going to become white, basically, like these guys over here, but a lot of them won't, especially some flowers and smaller bushes. They just remain completely green. So I decided to just delete them. Also, one bad thing about this is that all the citizens in the city are going to be turned back into the vanilla models for the winter theme. So they are going to have like hats and jackets and stuff. but they are going to be those colorful vanilla models, right? They're not going to be the 50s citizens that I had. So that's a bit unfortunate. I was maybe tiny bit thinking that I'm going to do like the first person rides through the city from the winter theme, but this kind of, destroys it. So that's a bit unfortunate, but that's not going to prevent us from looking at the winter city from a bit, further away. So I was kind of surprised that even procedural objects and all these kinds of detailing aspects of the city also get the snow. That was something that I was really afraid of. That was something that I thought it's going to just make it impossible for me to show you the winter Altengrad. But I was pleasantly surprised that all of these aspects that I did in the city, apart from those couple of trees and flowers that I mentioned, they all turned white and they all have the snow on top of them. So even for example, the piles of coal in the train station in here turned white, which is kind of cool. It is how it would be, obviously. There would be just snow piled absolutely everywhere. The gravel doesn't really get a lot of snow, but it's kind of looking nice. I think that I'm not really playing that much with Theme Mixer. I think I'm using the winter theme in here made by Avania, I think. I'm not exactly sure. I think I downloaded like 2 or 3 and tested them, and this one looked definitely the best, right? It's kind of interesting that you can even use this winter theme even if you are not actually running the base theme for the Snowfall DLC. You can just make your grass white, and you're just not going to have the buildings white. But that might be something to play with maybe in the future. I especially like with this winter theme the water texture, and with this island it's just looking absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, I also had to download some of those bare trees without leaves to just put them somewhere in these places. I think willow trees did not turn white, so I had to delete them from the city and just put those bare trees everywhere, and it's just looking really, really good. Yeah, and like I said, especially with the island, the water textures just really, really shine through. All right, so that was the Monastery Island. That was one of my favorite shots in this entire episode. Now, this is going to be something that we have seen recently built in the city, and that's the tram depot and slow transition into that industrial zone. So the tram depot looks again kind of nice. It's really cool how I already said it before, but how everything is just blended together. You could have seen that there was this very distinct red roof on that building in front of the tram depot, and now it's just all white, all snowy. That's really nice to see. So hopefully you guys like Winter Altengrad. We are probably going to do this next holidays as well, but right now this is just serving as a nice nice opportunity to do some kind of a small overview of the city. Some plans for the future I already mentioned when I was building the industrial area right here, that we are going to do some kind of structures on the river. So that's going to be the next episode from Altengrad. Already have it finished building. And then we are just going to do some kind of city expansion, probably past that next project, because if you've been watching the live stream, then you could have seen me actually plan that area in advance, right? So lots of stuff still to do in the Altengrad city. You can see that it's already big, but there are places in even closer to the downtown that are just empty, and we need to finish them. So that's definitely going to take a long time still, but we are definitely getting closer to finishing it. So lots of plans still ahead of us. I do have lots of ideas for various places around the city, so that's good. That's definitely something to, motivate me to keep going forward with the series. And yeah, we just need to finish it before we can advance in time and do some changes to the city. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this winter episode from the Altengrad city. Happy holidays. If you liked this video, then you can put a thumbs up underneath it. You can share the video with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and all those kinds of things. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you next time. Take care and goodbye.